Hello, everybody. I know you're here because you are interested in post concussion healing. So, I am going to walk you through how I work and how it's different than maybe the programs you've done. And my main goal is to give you some takeaways to either start implementing into your life right away or to come and ask me some more questions, or to join my concussion healing community where we talk about these things in detail. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. My name is Mia Lockhart. I am a certified matrix repatterning practitioner, and I have specialized in concussion and pain release. So I work with physical healing and nervous system regulation. A little bit more about um, who I am and my history. So I have almost 25 years of experience in body healing. Way back in 2001, I became a registered massage therapist here in Nova Scotia, Canada. And so I have been working on bodies for the last almost 25 years. And so with that comes learning so much about injury, illness, how our bodies respond. And I have built a deep level of understanding of the layers of what's happening in the body. So I did that for 15 years, worked as a massage therapist, took a lot of different trainings in the nervous system and in myofascial release. And then in 2017, I took training in neurofascial release, which took me really into the nervous system and how it heals. And then moved into, I started matrix repatterning training. And through the course of that training, which was in Toronto, Canada, and you can learn more about matrix repatterning at matrixrepatterning.com. But basically, that training, I completed my final thesis in January 2022. And so I've been working in that modality. I found it very effective, and I have moved into specializing in concussions and chronic pain healing. Just because of the results I'm able to get. And it just seemed like I seemed to be getting more and more cases on concussions and was able to get results that people weren't getting anywhere else. I also got some funding for research in this area as well. So all of these things have kind of led me here and led me to you to help you where you're at in your concussion journey. I want to be upfront and open as well. I do have guides from higher consciousness that have been training me as well on frequency healing and how our bodies heal. So this is something I work with as well and share with you. This is knowledge that basically is to help humans move forward as we're trying to figure out how to heal our bodies and move into just expanding our capacity. And so I'm excited to share those things as well with you as you go through your healing journey. But really, since the beginning, since I was very young, I knew my work here was to heal our physical bodies. I really work in that level in bodies, and expand our awareness and abilities. So I work a lot with healing from the inside out, and these bodies right here where we are right now. So to move on, let's move on. So a little bit of why I'm creating this program is basically to support you, and to start sharing all the things I've been sharing with my clients here in my clinic in Nova Scotia. I have a small clinic in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, with 5 other massage therapists, and I do this matrix repatterning and concussion treatments, pain release treatments here in person. And I've created now just kind of put everything that I work with my clients on outside of treatment time, especially, is just all the ways that we can help heal a concussion from the inside out. And most people that come to me have gone to physio clinics and chiropractic clinics and medical professionals, and have had some level of healing, but they are at a space where they're at a plateau. And that's the thing with this kind of healing method, is we've been able to have some breakthroughs for them, and that's what I want to share with you today. So we move into nervous system safety, brain gut connection, and then of course emotions, trauma, and what humans really need to heal. So to get the most out of this presentation, really, I want you to grab a piece of paper, and we're going to help you break through the post concussion plateau you're stuck at. I got ahead of myself. I want you to grab a piece of paper. So stop here if you don't have one, because I want you to have takeaways from this presentation. And I want you to write down anything that pops in your mind while I'm talking, because those things are specific to you. So while I'm talking about all the principles of the Thrive method that I use in my clinic, there's going to be tidbits of information that fall. So stop, pause here if you need to, write Thrive across the top and then THRIVE along the side, just like this piece of paper. And we're going to use that to help you. And it's for your notes only. There's no requirement, but I want you to have a takeaway. That's basically it. So let's get into the details of how I help concussions and what I want you to consider as maybe different unconventional methods that you might not have considered on your journey. So the main thing with Thrive is that we're healing from the inside out. You can see that brain healing from the inside out. And that's the whole purpose of this. We don't want to just get into reprogramming or setting our mindset to deal with what we have. This is about healing. This is about making change. This is about getting your life back. Okay? So this method emphasizes the interconnectedness of the nervous system, body matrix, and the mind, body, and spirit for overall healing from within. And I want to keep it simple because I understand how much complexity sucks when you have a concussion brain. So let's keep it simple. You have the Thrive method. I want to just take each of those elements and we're going to look at them in detail. So the first thing I do with anybody who comes in with a concussion, and that's the T, is tension release. And I'm talking about tension in the system. So with matrix repatterning, I'm always looking at the body as a full matrix. And when we've had an impact, like in our cranium, and it's caused bones to expand, that's a really important area to look at. And as much as we do training and reprogramming and everything else for our eyes and our ears and our neck, if there's tension in the system, if the bones of the cranium have expanded from impact and that's never released, we will never get the results we need to look for. So my number one thing when I talk about tension release, I'm actually looking in the body for where there's been impacts. And we use frequency and compression and very specific techniques to release tension from your body. So if you haven't had any practitioner look at the actual places where your body has absorbed impact, like the back of your head, if you cracked your head, or your nose, or if you fell on your butt and hit really hard, or if you got whiplash, all of those areas, if you've had impact in the cranium, in any bones, your body has absorbed that impact and got slightly larger. So if you haven't had a practitioner to look at where there's been impacts in your body and changes of shape of the bones themselves, you need to look at that first. And because when there's an expansion, when you have a bump on your head, when you have an expanded part of your cervical neck, when you have any expansion in your body, it's causing tension on the system. It's causing the system to feel like it's in pain all the time. There's tension in the tendons. There's impacts on the nervous system, all of these things. So our body wants to release that stored impact and come back into alignment. So number one is looking at the system, the physical system. Is there any place the body has been injured and that injury has not been fully released? There's slight expansion in the head or in the neck. That's number one. I use matrix repatterning for this and matrix release work, frequency, medicine, all of these things to release the stress on the system. So tension release is number one. Every client I see, we're looking for that first. Okay. And then we come to H, which is home. I've called it home because nervous system safety is huge for healing. If we don't feel safe, we don't heal. And a lot of the symptoms of post-concussion are nervous system dysregulation. So feelings of anxiety, feelings of stress, a system overwhelm, staying in a state of nervous system being on high alert because you had a trauma, all of these things are not helping your system heal. So this principle, and I teach this through the treatments I do, the matrix repatterning is very grounding for the system, but also personal, like meditation techniques, grounding, earthing techniques, ways to affect your environment, all the ways that we can look at every part of our home and our body and our diets to calm our nervous system down, come home. And I would try to portray that in this image here. But the main thing is bring your system to safety so you can fully heal. And what does that look like for you? Okay, moving on. So the next, I think we missed one. Oh no, it's R. So the next one is rhythms. And this gets into concussion safe cardio and concussion safe regulation of your system. So pushing yourself a little so you can start to heal more. So with concussion safe cardio programs I have, there is a ton of research on this now on helping you get past limitations because of that might come from stress in your system. And so what we do here is I'll teach you ways that we can push your system a little bit so that you can get better at regulating your system. After you push your system, calm it down, push your system, calm it down. And that's how we get breakthroughs, especially on the cardio level, on exercise level, for anyone getting back into sport and regular activity. When you're limited by heart rate, you're limited by a cardio stress, we have a way to get you through that. So rhythms and regulations and setting up your life so that we can heal that. And I just noticed there's a spelling mistake on the rhythms, but you get the point. We're going to work on rhythms for that. And then moving now into inflammation. Let's talk about inflammation and how that can really affect your body, and the basics of like diet and reducing light exposure, blue light, working on ways to find ways to reduce inflammation, because in a state of inflammation, which happens when there's brain damage, but also is affected by diet and everything else in our lifestyle, if we can reduce inflammation, we're going to heal. So one of the big sections of healing is looking at inflammation in the system. And especially if you are at a plateau, moving to a low carb diet, moving to some supplementation that helps with inflammation and brain healing, hugely important. And we're going to look at that, bringing the fire down so that the body can heal. It's really important in brain healing, especially. So if any of these slides are bringing up ideas for you to look at or to ask questions about, just write that down on your piece of paper. Okay, moving on. The next letter is V, and that's vagus. So the vagus nerve and vitamins. I don't know if you've heard much talk about vagus nerve. A lot of people are talking about that today, but it is the system in your body that is regulating and is affected by stress. So you've had a stressful incident, you've gone through the trauma of a concussion, and your vagus system may be affected. And vagus shows up in cardio and respiratory, and digestion is the main one. So there are some very simple tools to learn how to regulate your vagus nerve, and this can really help your system again to calm down. So we look at that, and also vitamins and supplementation, all in the goal of like helping your system heal beyond where you are right now. So even put a note, like search on YouTube about vagus nerve regulation. That might be something that is really valuable to you at this time. So I would check that out and see if that is something that there's some vagus nerve reset actions and options for you to try. And those might just be exactly what your system needs to reset each day, or a tool to help you reset it when it gets out of balance. Okay, moving on. So the final letter is E, and that's emotional healing and energetics, like calming any energetics in your body. So some people experience a phenomena of where feeling a lot of different energies flowing through their body after an impact. And this is where we get into learning how to basically ground the system. And then there's the other piece of any trauma. in our life, it can bring up emotions that have been in our system for a while, maybe suppressed emotions from childhood, or it can be emotions around the stress of what happened in the accident. But this is where we get into emotional healing, clearing. And so this, I don't look at it first, but I do look at it later on in the healing journey. So if you have, this is where we start getting into tools to help us heal on the emotional level as well as the physical. So this is what I call a later stage in the healing journey, super important, and can be the key that you need as well. So looking at emotional healing, super valuable in the concussion journey, but not the first place I go. So always we go back to the beginning again, going back. If we go through the tension release first, tension release, then we're moving to nervous system, going home, and then we go into rhythms and regulation, moving your body, pushing your limits to break through your plateaus. So cardio safe, concussion safe cardio, and setting up your days in a way that works for your brain and helps your system. And then we look at inflammation, and yes, that is diets, that's also supplements, it's also screens, it's circadian rhythms, it's all the things that can help our system not be on fire and heal. And then we look at the vagus nerve and vitamins and anything that will help kind of hone in on these dysregulated parts of ourselves. So I see this as like bringing it all together. If your digestion, your gut relationship between brain brain and gut is really valuable too. So we look at that as well. And then finally, emotional healing. But again, this is at the further end of the stages, and this is where we more are looking at regulating the system, preparing you for the life without concussion, cleansing any emotional patterns that may be stuck in your system from the trauma of the incident or have been brought up by the trauma of the incident. And these are all valuable and important points, and a really important part of your healing. So if you feel like this is an important part for you to look at as well, just make a note on your chart on that as well. So that is an intro to how I work with concussions. Basically, I've created a community to kind of start talking about these in a safe space. I want to start sharing like each of these tools. So I plan to kind of have one focus per week and give you some really good tips on how to do it. I also want to start sharing my more immersive programs, the healing programs for concussion or chronic pain, and that would be working with me directly and with the matrix release programs. Also, a bit more information about my clinic and the immersive work I do with concussions as well, and a place to reach me. So join the Thrive community, and once you're in there, you can look around at the different I want to have different like information videos for you, but I also want a place for you to share your symptoms and use the community to help each other. So thank you for being here. I know you've been drawn to me for a reason. You've been drawn here to heal, and I am here for that purpose. So I look forward to having you in my community.